Good.
Oh, yes.
Man, I'm live. I'm live in the car. You can see my setup. I got 3 kids in my car right now. One just got done with gymnastics practice for about 4 hours. So I'm committed to the pickup drop off situation with the fam. So this is my office right now.
Well, we can't thank you enough for spending time tonight with your family in the effective selling class. And if the kids want to pop in and answer any sales questions, I think that's fair, right? We can do that. Yeah, we got some thumbs up. Sean, this is the same type of format that we've had over the previous few semesters. I know these students are jacked and pumped that you're here to answer their questions. I'm going to turn the class over to them so that way we can maximize time and efficiency. And who's going to start? We're going to start right over here. Come on up, Mark. Thank you.
Hi, Sean.
How's it going?
Laura. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. It's kind of perfect, your little introduction of you in the car with your 3 kids and picking up your little one from gymnastics. I did it too when I was younger. But that leads into my question of, I've looked into who you are and what your values are, and how does your work-life balance with your demanding job? How do you deal with that? And how do you make sure that you have all of your values and you're always at the best for working?
Yeah, I think this is like a living example of it right here, right? Candidly, you're going to hear a lot, probably all of you, about the importance of work-life balance. I personally don't believe in that. I think, and the reason why I say that is I think that you need to create a workplace, an environment that is truly, that's how you live life, right? I mean, I think, I think about this, as you think about your career and where you're trying to head, you don't want to lose sight of your authenticity, right? And work-life balance, in my opinion, causes you to probably do that, right? You're committing to one side or the other, your full self, right? Or you're maybe not committing 100% to either side. And so, it kind of goes with the coin phrase, work-life balance, and you're trying to balance off which version of yourself. And so to me, I've always kind of thought through, I want to be 100% all in on who I am in all aspects of every part, anything that I'm involved in. So whether that means being a father, a leader, a husband, all those things. And so that way I know that everybody that I encounter is going to get 100% me. And I can kind of lay my head down at night knowing that I gave my full self to everything. So there really is no balance. It's just, that's how I operate on a daily basis. So hopefully that kind of answers your question a little bit.
Yeah, I really like that answer. It's very non-traditional. I appreciate your answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I'm Layla. My question was kind of similar to her. I was going to ask about, meeting the demands of your professional work with also meeting the demands of your family. But I guess kind of going off of that, is there anything that maybe given that you're very much a family guy, anything that your kids have taught you that you bring into work every day and that maybe you can apply to that, whether it's like some skills or just the way that you do leadership?
Oh man, my kids have taught me more than probably some of my mentors have. So I would tell you, as far as what I've learned, really just becoming a father, is the importance of one, leading by example, right? Just how much so many people. So if you think about kids in general, my kids in particular, I'll use them as an example. Real quick. I got you. Just give me 1 second, okay? The great example is kids are constantly watching you, right? And so it's a great example. My youngest wants some chicken right now, so she's gonna get chicken. Here you go. So kids are constantly watching you, right? There's a reason why, at an early age, you're at a point where they don't say anything for 2-3 years, right? 2 years, right? Where they're finally starting to formulate. That means they've spent a lot of time just watching you. So if you think about that, how that translates to the office and in a culture setting like that, there's a lot of people that in departments that you're going to be around that just watch you. They maybe not won't say a word to you, but they're watching what you do, how you act. And so if anything, what my my kids have taught me is the importance of what show are they getting when they see me? What version are they getting to where I can lead by example each and every day? And that translates across the platform of your coworkers, your managers. What are they seeing? And then when they finally do say something to you, hopefully that's something positive, right? And if they are offering feedback, sometimes the feedback is not what you want to hear. It's like, man, you don't spend enough time on this, or man, I wish you would have shown me more attention in this. And kids will teach you that, right, really quick. But that translates into the workplace too. Of, man, I wish you would have come to me if you needed some feedback, or I wish that you would have told me how I could do this better because I just never knew. And so I try to take some of those lessons of understanding that people are watching, and not necessarily in a negative light, but more so they're watching you because they want to understand what do I need to do in order to be successful in certain aspects of the career. And I think the more that you're thinking about that, you're going to want to lead and put your best foot forward.
Awesome. Love that perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. My name is Gianna, and I took a look into your LinkedIn, and I saw that you started off your career kind of in business development. I saw that you worked for Allstate, and then I saw that you kind of had like a hard launch into sports, and I was kind of wondering what inspired you to get that way. What kind of pushed you from where you were to kind of where you are now?
Yeah, I was working for my dad. That's a pretty easy answer. I love my father. Didn't love working for him. And in all seriousness, like, it was one of those situations. I had a job, right? And I knew really quick I didn't have a career. And so I really had to think through, what am I truly passionate about? Like, great, I can come to this position. I can do it well. It's always going to be here for me. That's great. But eventually that became kind of just stale and not something that I was just motivated to, put my best foot forward in. And sports was that for me, where it was, I played sports and all growing up and into college. And it was one of those things, if I could be around it, I wanted to be a part of it, no matter what the capacity was. And that's really where the transition was, for me, of just making sure I'm doing something every day that I don't feel like I'm working that hard, but I also feel like I'm in a position to where I can make an impact the right way. And that's really what led me to the sports side.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Hey, Sean, nice to meet you. My name is Aldo. I'm a junior here at Bentley University, and I'm from Arlington, Texas. I don't know if you're by there, around there right now.
I'm not there right now, but I was there about, an hour ago.
Gotcha. Okay. So my question is, what legacy or impact would you most like to leave on the sports host organization and leadership team you're a part of?
Yeah, that's a great one. It's okay to pay it forward, right? I think too often success is always determined about all the accolades and things that you have done on your own, when really that's not the case. A lot of times you're learning from other people. And I would say for my legacy is, measure twice, cut once. That's really how it is, making sure you're doing everything the right way the first time, and then being able to share the wealth. Who are you passing it down to grow to, I'll always think about this imagery: be the first to always raise your hand, but with your other hand, who are you pulling up with you? Right. And that's really what I want to be known as, a person that was constantly in a spot, willing to say yes within reason and do it the right way, but also in the same position to pull people up with me. Because, as we mentioned, I got kids in my car. Like, hey, I want to retire someday and enjoy them. So, in order to do that, I got to make sure people are prepared to take the reins. And in order to do that, you have to make sure that you are preparing yourself the right way, but also preparing others the right way too.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I do have another lighthearted question. So, BRB currently gliding around the living room and singing every Usher song from my childhood is something that you posted yesterday on your Instagram. So, I just wanted to ask you what's like the most enjoyable song you enjoyed yesterday at the Super Bowl performance?
Oh, it got to be My Boo, Alicia Keys, and Usher. You know, I mean, Alicia Keys was probably like, you know, every guy's crush for a long time, and still is mine. My wife was like, you know, really, Alicia Keys has to be there. Like, I'm gonna let you have your moment, right? She's on the piano and all that good stuff. But you know, in all seriousness, like I'm a huge music guy, and so you know, that kind of moment to understand, you know, what all it goes into that, you know, especially now being in the events world. Definitely a lot of appreciation there, and it was a fun moment to, you know, embarrass my kids for a little bit singing in the house.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Good. Hey, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get my little one in the car real quick.
Yeah, no problem. I love this guy. That's interesting. How was he confirmed? That's why would be my.
Also, must have his legs up or something. No.
And then I'll get to the sales question.
Yeah.
John, can you ask him how he's sitting like that, please?
We gotta know.
How do you know him?
So that's a great question.
Get up and ask the question.
John, you got 3 questions now, right? How are you sitting that way? Are you contorted? You ever try to do that? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's uncomfortable.
All right, we're back.
So I'm Sean. Nice to meet you. And I originally came up with 1 question, and now I have 3. So one question
Okay.
is, this might be a little weird, but the class want to know how you were sitting like that. Like, that was a little awkward.
So, you know, my daughter just came from gymnastics, so she taught me how to stretch really well. But no, like in all seriousness, like this truck is pretty. I'm in a, you know, F-150, you know, wide bucket seats, all that good stuff. I got plenty of room. I'm good.
Okay, cool. And then another question they want to know was how you knew Professor Young.
Yeah, you know, he realized really quickly that America's team is the Dallas Cowboys, and we kind of shared some back and forth rants from there. Now we just connectivity. You know, I think all of y'all live it every day, and if you're not on LinkedIn, I mean, I think that's a huge thing that you should make sure you're getting on. And it kind of goes back to the statement earlier about paying it forward. Like there was an opportunity that he does some great stuff with you guys that, you know, if you're not soaking it in, you need to be a sponge. And just took a moment to where I was like, I want to be able to talk, you know, with the class. And, you know, I think what are we 3 years running at this point, something like that. So, you know, look, I think it's one of those things of seeing opportunities and understanding how to grow your network the right way. And you got yourself a great leader that knows his stuff. And so just wanted to make sure that I stay connected with him, and we can always share and bounce ideas off each other.
Awesome. And then my actual question was what kind of ways for you guys as the Cowboys, like what, I guess, marketing strategies can you guys do to bring in more customers, but like specifically like customers are willing to pay money? Because I know, like, you know, for like non-football or non-sport fans, like if the team, you know, starts to do better, you know, they might like watch it on TV, but like they can do that for free. Like what can you, like, how can you separate and change that person from just like a free customer to a fan that also like is willing to, you know, pay money with you guys?
Yeah, I think, you know, in order to really get down to the overall scope of that, like you have to know, you really have to meet your people where they are, right? And, you know, when we think about a true fan base, you know, most NFL teams, I think the league average is, you know, probably 7% of fans in general of whatever team that you are actually get to go and see your team in person, right? So if you think about that, that's a huge market share where you have individuals that will never see their team in person, right? Yet they will live and die by the brand. They will always be a part of that. So our goal is not the 7%. Our goal is the 93 that are always trying to figure out how to stay engaged. So creating platforms so where people can feel like they're in the know. You know, if you look around all the media outlets right now, the ESPN, NFL networks, all of those, those different ways to capture, when you really think about the deal structures that were set up, with the Jones family way back in the day of the why, media buys and thinks about, why the networks need to be involved. This is why the schedule takes so long to get released, is because they're working out who gets this much time, who gets Monday Night Football, who doesn't. All that data and information then gets shared, right, to understand, okay, in this marketplace, X amount of viewers. So you'll probably see something in the next few days about how many people watched, the Super Bowl and where were they from and all that good stuff. Well, they're going to take that same information and figure out, okay, how many of these individuals were Taylor Swift fans versus Usher fans versus Cowboys fans versus Chiefs and other fans. And I think the more that we can do that, the better we take that same information. How many are female perspective kids from, the Nickelodeon side? Then you really start to dissect that, and, you formulate, ways that people can fill out form submissions, stuff like that. And then you make your approach. Like from there, you can say, well, hey, 30% of the people were the female perspective. That means we got to change our messaging to make sure that, do we add in merchandise components to make sure that we're thinking through that? Like you really have to go with that. This is a data-driven league, right? And the more that we can do that, the better. And so that's really how we start to think about a marketing strategy.
Awesome, Sean. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the first one is in your 2021 Sales Leadership Summit lecture on selling during uncertainty. You mentioned that uncertainty is a part of selling. What informational, psychological, and networking tools and abilities really should a salesperson have to improve tolerance for ambiguity in such times?
Yeah, I mean, change is inevitable, right? And I think salespeople, the quicker that you can understand, especially most sales processes are always going to change, the better you're going to be as a salesperson. And how you perfect that. When you think about objections that you're always going to get, right? A lot of times as a customer, they will tell you, well, we got this budget, or, I don't really know what we're going to do in the next quarter, so therefore we can't move forward. As a salesperson, you need to always educate yourself about what is coming down the road, and then use that objection as an opportunity. Hey, I understand that, down the road, this may be an issue. We're actually talking through that situation right now, but, let's think through that together, right? As salespeople, you're meant to provide solutions for people and not agree, right? A lot of times people think that appeasing the customer is going to get you the sale. Educating the customer will get you the sale. Giving them a perspective that they never thought about will help you get the sale. And so when I think about uncertainty, you need to be educated in the market enough to allow your customers to feel like they have a sense of safety with you. And hey, I know that things are changing, inflation, all these different costs that may be happening. The more that you can speak to that, and say, okay, well, what have you been thinking about as a client? And maybe we can help with that. If you can offer a solution to overcome an objection, now it becomes an opportunity for you. And I think the more that you think through that, always, see down the road a little bit, the better your offer you're going to be.
Thank you. My last question is, selling can be cutthroat, and really the temptation to put down competition when presenting proposals and prospects can be high. How can someone effectively highlight the value added by the product without really seeming to be critical of the competition?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy, to sit there and tell somebody, hey, don't go by here because they do business like this, or, I think that's always the easy way. you need to always think about how are you building value. You know, value is how you're going to separate yourself from the competition without even mentioning the competition, right? If I'm doing something with the Dallas Cowboys or with Legends or whatever the case may be, I'm going to talk about Legends because I'm proud of what the product that we have to offer, and understand what's going on out in the market, understand what your competitors are doing, but there should be no reason that you even need to talk about what's happening, what other products are going on out there. And look, the customer will sit there and they will, most of it, they're doing their research the right way, right? They'll say, well, you know, across the street, they're doing it like this. You know what? That's great. Let me ask you, if that was a great opportunity for you, why would you want to talk to us? What would your expectation by talking to us now? Right? Make it back, bring it back on us. Well, you know, I was hoping, because that means if truthfully, that means the competitor didn't have something that they needed. So you need to be able to bring the value add, and it takes you out of the conversation, right? If somebody's asking, okay, why, you know, I'm not even a Cowboys fan, why would I do something at AT&T Stadium? It's not even about the Cowboys. It's about the platform. We offer a one-of-a-kind, unique venue that nobody else can replicate, right? Now, all of a sudden, your product's different. Now, all of a sudden, you know, if I could tell you, you know, in a 1 in 4 opportunity, you would increase your show rate for an event, or your prospecting, your sales numbers go up by just having somebody here. Would that be of value to you? Well, yeah, because guess what? The competitor probably didn't say that. Now you've created value, and you don't really have to bring that to the table. You know, if you think about that, now that it's not really a cutthroat business, it just becomes, this just makes more sense for us, right? I always tell my sales teams now, educate yourself on other markets, because we want to be able to speak to that. If somebody in the oil and gas industry calls in and wants to do business here, we need to know how to talk to an oil and gas customer, right? Somebody in tech or pharmaceuticals or whatever the case may be, is you need to be educated in other markets, not just your own, and then leverage your platform to say, this is why our values can align. And then you don't even have to mention the competition, because you're not trying to sell a product. You're trying to provide a solution and show how you can create a partnership together.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hi, Sean. My name is Yarlin, and I wanted to say that I really liked your article about how when you want to make your grass greener, you have to nurture it instead of just watering it when you're talking about your business. So I wanted to know, in what ways has the organizational culture directly influenced sales outcomes at your company?
Yeah, I think the importance of building culture and building people is just, I mean, it's, if you want to see results anywhere, you got to focus on what's in front of you, and building people up, putting them in the right environment, and allowing them to actually grow. That is something that as a company, no matter what organization you're in, if you don't put that in the forefront, you know, truly, that's how a culture is going to die, because people aren't going to feel appreciated and trustworthy. And there's a book out there by a guy named David Coyle called The Culture Code. And he talks about, in that book, about the importance of building safety, creating safety. And safety means a lot of things to a lot of people. But when you think about creating an environment that people want to come to, you know, think about your house, right? When everybody leaves here, you're going to go to, you know, your apartment, your dorm room, your house, whatever the case may be, right? And you go there because that's a place that you feel comfortable and you feel like you can relax and kick back, and it's safe, right? That this is a good place to be. This is why I invested in that. The environments that you create, you know, on the sales end and in an organization, is that you want to create a place where your people, they're going to spend half their life coming to work, right? And you got to make sure it's a place where they feel like they can kick back and be themselves, and you know you're going to get the best version of them because you create an environment that they never want to leave. My goal will always be, and continues to be, I want to make it very, very hard for people to leave our organization. But if they leave, it's for a great opportunity. And whether that's internal or that's somewhere else. And the more that we can do that, that means we created a place that is safe. And it actually just happened just recently. We had a guy that was getting promoted. And he was like, I'm really questioning like taking this job because I really enjoy our culture. And I'm like, you're going to make more money. This is great for your family. You get some, you get PTO and extra benefits, stuff like that. He's like, I know, but like the culture, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to get that at this other place. Right. And I was like, that's the best compliment you could give me, because that lets me know that we're doing something right. And so I think, a lot of people always chase the bigger, better thing, chase culture and chase leadership. When you find that, you're going to find success, and you're going to find the right environment that's going to allow you to grow where you need to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Last one.
Hey, Sean.
All right.
So I was just wondering how your athletic background and the quality traits you've learned through athletics has shaped you to be who you are today in the business world.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I guess the best way I could put it, so back in, so I walked on at the University of Arkansas in 2004. Had the opportunity to play with some great guys, people that played in the NFL, did some great things, people that you probably would know or know of, Derek McFadden, Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis, guys like that. The late Ryan Mallett, those are guys that I got to play ball with and call teammates. But we also had a coach that I think at the time when I was at Arkansas, I didn't realize he was instilling these little things in us that, there's a guy named Houston Nutt. He would talk about the importance of family, and he'd always tell us and remind us like it was clockwork that these are the best days of your life. Okay. At the time as a college student, I was like, these are probably the worst days. Like I got to get up, I got to go to class. Like, this is inconvenience to me. I got to go and like be a student and stuff like that. I don't get to go hang out with my friends every day. And so at the time I wasn't really thinking through the lessons that we were learning. On top of every day I got to go to a practice field and compete, go on an SEC stage and compete. Those are things that I didn't realize were happening right there in front of me, of teaching me how I was going to be really in the workforce. And fast forward to today, the lessons that I learned are, at that time, they were the best times of my life, right? I was in a culture, right, that I was around people that I enjoyed to be around. We got to compete every day to a common goal. We got to compete against each other, but lift everybody up when we were either down or up. We had a situation where, every year we had turnover, right? We had a senior class that would leave, and then we're like, man, how are we going to get back to the same goal? It's the same stuff that was happening that still happens today. You got teams that you're feeling like the best with all the time, that you want to go to war with, right? You want to work hard with, because you're all competing for your common goal. You want to celebrate success together, whether that's in the locker room, stuff like that. And you're in a culture that truly, it's the best days of your life, right? This is a work environment that you want to be in, to where you feel like this is the best opportunity I can ever have, right? I didn't even realize that was even happening to me as I was getting into sports. And, now as I think about it, the extra piece that was happening that I try to think through is paying it forward, right? We had a coach that would, the paying it forward piece is that he'd be a player's coach, right? And say, hey, come over to, and we always do Sunday dinners, like come over to the coach's house, and he'll kind of give you some life lessons. We do the same thing, right? Like, do kind of work outings and stuff like that, to where let's not talk about work, let's talk about life. And those are the individuals that now they continue to grow and build on the culture. And so I think, what that instilled in me, and I didn't know it at the time, is the importance of family and your work family. And, I try to carry that through to make sure that people feel like, they're working in an environment that this is the best time of my life. And I want to make sure that I do everything possible to protect it, right? Like I want to protect this group, and anybody that's invited in, like think about a recruiting class, like, that's why you go on recruiting visits and stuff like that. Like if this guy wants to come and transfer here, like we got to make sure they can fit into our culture. Same thing when you're hiring somebody, we got to make sure this person understands where we're trying to get to and doesn't want to mess with the culture, because that's a thing that we took time to curate and get to. And I think when I was at Arkansas, you know, it was a special time when we got to the SEC championship. Unfortunately, Tim Tebow had to ruin our dreams to get to national championship, but you know, we still had a great time, and we've never been back there ever since, you know. And so I think that there were just special moments that at the time I wasn't privy to, but now I really can see that. And you know, the main thing is to pay that forward and make people also understand that you know, this is a great time to be working, and you know kind of push that through every day.